My name is Sarah. I'm 28 years old. And that evening, what happened to me, I'll never forget it. It was my sister's wedding, Rebecca's wedding. The whole family was excited. Decorations, lights, music, everything was perfect. But I knew all of this was only perfect on the outside. I arrived at the venue alone. Nobody was with me. And as soon as I walked in, everyone's eyes landed on me. First came the whispers, then laughter. My aunts were looking at me and saying something to each other. Their faces had those expressions, you know, like they'd seen something really bad. My cousin Emma walked up to me. She looked me up and down and said, Sarah, your boyfriend didn't come? Or you haven't found anyone yet? Everyone laughed. I couldn't say anything. Um, I just stood there. Uncle Richard said, Honey, you always said your career was most important. Now look, standing alone at family functions. Mom came up to me. I thought maybe she'd support me. But she only said, Sarah, I'm embarrassed. The whole family is watching you. It's your sister's wedding, and you came alone. It hurt a lot. Rebecca, my sister, was smiling at me from a distance, but that smile, it wasn't genuine. It was a taunt, a silent message. I won, you lost. I remembered how we were best friends as kids, how we shared each other's secrets, but then everything changed. When I started focusing on my career, Rebecca started calling me selfish. She convinced the whole family that I didn't prioritize my relationships. And today, at her wedding, everyone saw me alone and thought Rebecca was right. I walked into the reception hall. Everyone ignored me, like I wasn't even there. People at tables were talking, laughing, and I was standing alone in a corner. Dad looked at me once and turned away, like he was ashamed that I was his daughter. Then dinner started. I tried to sit at a table, but as soon as I sat down, everyone got uncomfortable. Nobody talked to me. Just awkward silence. Rebecca's best man, Jake, stood up to give a speech. He praised Rebecca and her husband so much. What a perfect couple they were. How much love they had. Then he said, Unlike some people who choose careers over love, everyone looked at me and laughed. I sat there, alone, humiliated, hurt. But what people didn't know was that I wasn't alone because I had nobody. I was alone because I had made a choice, and now I was going to tell everyone what that choice was. Before I tell you what happened when I took that mic, hit subscribe and like this video because when my family heard the truth, their faces went from mockery to absolute shock. Look, I sat there for another 10 minutes watching everyone celebrate, watching Rebecca glow in her white dress, watching my family laugh and enjoy themselves while I was the joke of the evening. Then came the moment for open speeches. The DJ announced, If anyone wants to say a few words for the bride and groom, please come up. A few people went up, gave sweet speeches, talked about love and happiness. I stood up, my hands were shaking, my heart was pounding, but I walked toward that stage. Emma whispered loudly, Oh God, what is she doing? Uncle Richard said, This is going to be embarrassing. Mom looked panicked. Um, she tried to signal me to sit down, but I didn't stop. I took the microphone. The whole room went silent. Everyone was staring at me, some with curiosity, most with judgment. I looked at Rebecca. She had this nervous smile on her face, like she was worried about what I might say. I took a deep breath. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, Rebecca's sister. Someone in the back said, The one who came alone. More laughter. I smiled. Yes, the one who came alone, and I want to talk about that. The room got quieter. You all saw me walk in here by myself tonight, and I heard the whispers. I heard the jokes about how I'm alone, about how I chose my career over love, about how I am, what was it? Oh, yes, selfish. Rebecca's smile faded a little. I continued, and you know what? You're right. I did choose my career. I worked hard, really hard. I spent nights studying, weekends working. I missed parties. I missed family dinners. I sacrificed a lot. Uncle Richard nodded like he was proving his point. But what you don't know is why I work so hard. What you don't know is what I actually do. I pulled out my phone. You see, 3 years ago, I started a company, a tech company. It was small at first, just me and two friends. We built an app that helps small businesses manage their finances. People were listening now, really listening. And last month, something amazing happened. A major corporation bought our app. They bought it for $8 million. The room gasped. Everyone's eyes went wide. Mom's hand went to her mouth. Rebecca's face went pale. My share of that sale was $3.2 million. That's why I came alone tonight. Not because I don't have love in my life, not because I'm lonely, but because for the past 3 months, I've been in meetings, negotiations, legal paperwork, building something real. I looked directly at Rebecca. My baby sister is getting married today, and I wanted to be here. I wanted to celebrate with her, but I couldn't bring my business partners to a family wedding. I couldn't bring my lawyers. I couldn't bring the investors who've been calling me nonstop. So I came alone. The silence was deafening. And you know what hurt the most? It wasn't that you laughed at me. It wasn't that you mocked me. It was that my own family, my own blood, didn't even ask me how I was doing. Um, didn't ask me about my life. Just assumed, just judged. Tears were in my eyes now. Real tears. I came here tonight hoping that maybe, just maybe, my family would be happy to see me, would be proud of me. But instead, I became the joke. I looked at dad. He couldn't meet my eyes. I looked at mom. She was crying. I looked at all my aunts and uncles and cousins who had laughed at me. Their faces showed shame now, guilt. So here's my gift to the bride and groom. I pulled out an envelope from my purse. Rebecca, I know you and David wanted to buy a house, but couldn't afford the down payment. Here's a check for $200,000 for your new home. Because despite everything, you're still my sister. And I still love you. I placed the envelope on the gift table. Rebecca started crying, really crying. Congratulations on your wedding. I hope you have a beautiful life together. I handed the mic back to the DJ and walked off the stage. Nobody laughed now. Nobody whispered. They just stared. I walked toward the exit. I needed air. I needed to get out of there. But then I heard footsteps behind me. Sarah! Sarah! Wait! It was Rebecca. She was running toward me, her wedding dress flowing behind her. She reached me and grabbed my hand. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. I was jealous. I was so jealous of you. You were always the smart one, the successful one, and I felt like I was just average. So when you started working all the time, I got angry. I made everyone think you were selfish. I made them think you didn't care about family because It made me feel better about myself. I didn't say anything, I just listened. But the truth is, I was the selfish one. I was so insecure about my own life that I tried to bring you down. And tonight, when you walked in alone, I felt good. I felt like finally I had something you didn't. Finally, I was better than you at something. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. But I was wrong. So wrong. You're amazing, Sarah. You've built something incredible. And instead of being proud of you, instead of supporting you, I turned our family against you. Mom and Dad had come over now. They were standing a few feet away. Dad spoke first. Sarah, I'm ashamed. I I'm ashamed of how I treated you tonight, how I've treated you for years. You were working hard, building a future, and I thought you were just being distant. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Mom came and hugged me. My baby. My brilliant baby. I'm so proud of you. I should have said that years ago. I should have supported you. But I listened to gossip. I listened to judgment. I failed you as a mother. One by one, family members came over, aunts who had whispered about me, uncles who had mocked me, cousins who had judged me, all apologizing, all feeling guilty. Uncle Richard said, Sarah, I was a fool, a complete fool. You were out there changing your life, and I made fun of you for not having a date. I'm sorry. Emma hugged me. You're like my hero now. Seriously. I'm sorry for being so mean. Even Jake, the best man who made that comment during his speech, came over. That was really low of me. I didn't know anything about your life. I'm sorry. Rebecca held my hands. Please forgive me. Please. You gave me $200,000 after how horribly I treated you. You're a better person than I'll ever be. I looked at my sister, at my family, at all these people who had hurt me just hours ago. I forgive you, I said quietly. But things need to change. You can't just assume things about people. You can't just judge without knowing the whole story. I was hurting for years, feeling like my own family didn't value me, feeling like I had to prove something. Rebecca nodded. I know, and I'll make it right. I promise. The wedding continued, but everything was different now. People came up to me all night, asking about my company, asking about my journey, actually interested in my life. Dad introduced me to people as my daughter, the successful entrepreneur. Mom kept hugging me and saying, I'm so proud of you. Rebecca made sure I was included in every photo, every moment. When it was time for the bouquet toss, Rebecca walked over to me instead. This is yours, she said, because you deserve all the happiness in the world. I smiled. Keep it. You're the bride. She hugged me tight. Thank you for being the bigger person. Thank you for still loving me even when I didn't deserve it. You know what's funny? I came to that wedding feeling alone, feeling like an outsider in my own family. Um, but I left feeling more connected than ever before. Not because I revealed my success, not because I had money, but because I stood up for myself. I showed them who I really was, and I did it with grace. The next morning, I woke up to texts from family members, real texts, asking how I was, wanting to know more about my life, wanting to rebuild our relationships. Rebecca sent me a long message. You taught me something last night. You taught me that real strength isn't about putting others down. It's about lifting yourself up. I want to be more like you. I love you, sis. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I I cried reading that because at the end of the day, that's all I ever wanted. To be seen, to be valued, to be loved for who I really was. And finally, I had that. My family had mocked me for arriving alone at the wedding. They had laughed at me, judged me, made me feel small. But when I took that mic, everything changed. I didn't take revenge with anger. I didn't humiliate them back. I just told my truth. And sometimes That's the most powerful thing you can do.